Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you to Pulaski County Fiscal Court. As is customary, we like to open with the Pledge of Allegiance. This morning I've asked Chief Darwin Harris if he would be so kind as to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. If y'all would stand. Salute. Pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Chief. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the approval of our minutes from the previous meeting. You all received a copy of those. What would be your pleasure?
Judge, you never got the minutes.
That's it. Yeah, we'll do that. It's like in the old business.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Ranshaw and a second by Wilson. Have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And then in old business, we also need to amend the May 25th minutes. You've got copies of those. Basically, when we hired Justin Ridner, we put in there that it was as a driver and it needs to be operator. So we need to amend those minutes to reflect that.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Ranshaw and a second by Turpin. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. The TIF ordinance and the interlocal agreements, we'll discuss those at the end of the meeting, because there's several things we need to put together there. But moving on to the 2021-22 bid acceptance, we received those bids and they've been, I guess, reviewed and presented as packets, I guess. So we would entertain a motion to just approve the bids that were turned in.
Motion to approve all bids.
Second.
Motion by Strunk, second by Wilson. We have any further discussion?
Was there any bids that we did not accept?
No.
No.
So we're accepting all of the bids that were turned in.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next in new business, we've got the salary schedule. You all have received those. We need to approve the salaries for 21-22.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wilson, second by Ranshaw. We have any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next then, we'll go to our department reports. You've got copies of your road work request in front of you. I think we do have 2 speed limit to set and vote on. Bear with me here a second.
I got one.
First on West Langdon, I'm going to set a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Ranshaw and a second by Turpin. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And then next one, Mark, where's your speed limit?
For Heron, 20 miles an hour.
Next on Heron Road, or Heron Lane, is it? What is it? Heron Lane, we want to set the speed limit to 20 miles per hour.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wilson, second by Turpin. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, and then we would entertain a motion to accept the remainder of the road request as a whole.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Wilson and second by Strunk. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Next thing, we've got a request to purchase 3,000 tons of rock.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wilson, second by Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And then finally, in the road department, we have a request to get 500 tons of hot mix.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Strunk, second by Wilson. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, then we'll move to the jail. Jailer McCullum, would you like to approach the court here?
Thank you, Judge. Good morning.
Morning.
Have a few things I need to bring up today. Is the first one is we have to bid these yearly. Permission to bid our electronic cigarettes that we sell in commissary. So I'd like to have your all's permission to put that out for bid.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Strunk, second by Wilson. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Second thing is we need to have your all's permission to extend the agreement that we have with Advent Financial Systems. This is the company that we use to collect jail fees and bills that inmates owe the jail that do not pay them. This is the company that we send them to collect those fees. I'd like for your all's permission to continue with that company.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Strunk, second by Wilson. Have any further discussion?
Any difference in cost or anything
No
for you?
difference, no change. We just need to, the contract was set to expire and we just needed to extend it. This next thing
Oh, we need to
is,
get a vote first. Any
Oh,
further
I'm sorry.
discussion?
I was getting ahead of you, wasn't I?
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, now,
The next thing is, we had a memorandum of understanding with Kentucky Workforce Development. If y'all remember, right before COVID hit, we entered into an agreement with them to help with us with our inmates on our reentry program. I'd like for y'all's permission to continue and to extend that contract. We had to, of course, shut our reentry programs down during COVID. We're getting ready to start those programs back up, and we need to enter back into that agreement with them. It's the same agreement as we had before, just renew it.
Motion.
Second.
motion by Ranshaw and a second by Strunk. Do we have any further discussion? I will ask, how was that program working? Did you see effective placement of the inmates as they were coming out?
We had a couple of good successes. Whenever the program was up and running, you know, we were able to find some jobs and was having some good success with it. So, and that was just a few months before COVID. Once that happened, everything got shut down. So we were having some success with it, yes.
Basically, we're going to start over and
Start over. We're going to start from ground one again and start all back over. So.
any further discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
And the last thing is I need to ask your all's permission to bid for air conditioning unit in one of our pods. We've been having difficulty with it with airflow. It's frequently tearing up, frequently going out. Just an architectural design flaw that's in the jail because of the airflow. We've asked several HVAC people to come over and to look at it, constant repair on it. The only thing that they can come up with that would be able to fix it in because of the air circulation is to be able to put mini split units in each of the cells. The cost on it, I do not know. That's why I would like to ask your all's permission to bid, just to see what kind of cost that we're looking at for it.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ranchon, a second by Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I've got.
Taylor, thank you
All
for
right, thank you all.
all you do for us.
Hey, Judge, before we get to Joan here, treasurers, one thing that I forgot to add, which we didn't know about it until yesterday evening, is Mark Ball's here with the local election board.
Okay, he's still, I need to get up there.
Nobody's hearing us. Won't hear Mark on me.
You know, basically, we're going to let Mark, they opened a bid yesterday for the voting machines, and Mark Vaught is here to present that to the court.
You'll have to share only got 5 copies of it.
That's all right. We'll get it put through.
So we can give it to them. I'll get one for them. There was only one bidder,
There was only
correct?
one bidder, Harp Enterprises. That's who our present election services people are. They'd given us an estimate on what it should cost, and they pretty much towed the line. I was talking to Danny, Mr. Danny Crumbs is back here. He's the one sitting beside me. He come in from Lexington today to be with us, so, the only thing I saw, did they recycle the old voting machines? He said, basically, we probably, if our recycle people can do that, we can probably save that money there, but it's gotta be EPA approved, and so there's, he'll work with us on that. But, everything else pretty much in line with what we thought it was gonna cost, and I like to, this time, submit the bid.
Motion to accept this bid for voting machines.
Do I have any questions?
Getting all new ones? How many new ones you getting? All of them?
We're getting 25 scanners and 15 for the handicap accessible. We don't have to have as many as those because they don't store any votes, but we're going to have early voting centers, and we cannot use the early voting centers on election day, so we have to sit there. We're going to try to run 3 early voting centers.
Yeah.
So we got to have separate equipment for up to election day, then equipment for election day as well. That's why we had to have so many of those. So we got 10, but I'm trying to find some place in Burnside. So we got enough machines to plan for an 11th one in Burnside if we ever find a place down there suitable for early voting or voting on election day.
Good deal.
You know what place I can go down there?
I knew that was coming.
I'm always working.
Not right off, but we'll try to find a place.
Well,
Are we going back to just the regular voting
no, sir.
locations?
No, sir.
That would never, it's totally changed forever on.
We don't know if it's forever. They're gonna give you both options. Like I said, but I think we can better serve the county by having 10. It's a whole lot less manpower. And this also saves us about $25,000 on election day from just the paying of the election workers. So in 10 election cycles, these things will be paid for.
I mean, one of the issues I had during the voting season was a lot of people like from Mount Victory, White Lily had to travel so far to vote.
I understand that, like I said,
Yeah.
and we hope to open up the Shottville Voting Center on that Saturday before the election, so they can go to Shottville to vote early on Saturday. I'm wanting to open Nancy and Shottville on that Saturday. We're allowed 3 days of early voting: the Friday, the Saturday, and the Monday. Like I said, so we're going to have. Right now, our plans are to have the Fire Training Center, the RECC building, and hopefully maybe if the city allows to have it in Rocky Hollow. So those 3, they'll be open for 3 days each. Then like I said, on that Saturday, I'm wanting to open up Nancy and Shottville. And again, if you can find me someplace in Burnside, open Burnside up.
Yeah, good deal.
So that way they'll give, instead of having 9 days of early voting, nine early voting days, whatever you want to call it, we'll have 11 or 12 that way. Hopefully vote more people that way.
So on actual voting day, they still would have to go to Shopville for,
That'll be their closest place, that's correct.
some of that's 15 miles, so for some people, that's 15, 20 miles
I
away.
understand that, like I said, but it's Mount Vernon, it's got like 100, 200 voters. It costs us $700 to man that position, just to man that position. And then we're gonna have equipment, then we're gonna take it out there. So you talk about a lot of money. I mean, with the Shottville Voting Center, I had 3 tables, probably had 12 people, something like that. So, there's a savings, but that's why we're trying to open up on Saturday, so we give them more options. 'Cause everybody comes to town, I think sometime during the week, I hope they do, or a lot of them don't, but they also have the mail-in option as well.
The budget amount is, or the amount on here, does that match what we decided we were gonna do for
That's a
the
Joan
upcoming
question,
budget?
I think. Joan?
Sir,
That-
I'm sorry, we were discussing.
I know, that's why I
early
said,
voting.
I don't know what y'all budgeted, is that the amount you budgeted for the equipment? 265?
That's in the current one we're about to approve?
I think it is under.
We got some training to do on top of that, so.
I think we budgeted 300.
I'm not exactly sure on
Yes. It's 10,000 under.
that. Okay. And the $10,000 is enough to cover training?
I hope so.
Okay. Motion to approve?
Second.
By Ranshaw, have a second by Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you, Mark.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mark.
So if I give this young lady a copy of the bid?
That-
So if I give this young lady my copy of the bid?
That's fine, yeah.
I know she's gonna ask me about it.
We'll just, I'll leave one of these copies for our file here, I don't know.
There you go.
Thank you. Also, not on the agenda, but, and I apologize if I didn't mention this beforehand, but we had one of our mowers quit last week, I guess decided he was gonna do something else, so we would like to hire a part-time seasonal person to fill in mowing, and we'll see how it goes the rest of this season. If we think they'll do a good job, we may look at hiring them permanent later. But it's Chuck Hendricks. So I'd like to recommend him for part-time seasonal.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Strunk, we have a second by Wilson. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, then that brings us to our treasurer's report. Joan?
Good morning, gentlemen, and ladies. Another year for us. I don't know if I want to say down the drain or completed well. The first item I have is the very last bill list we will have, so I hope you've reviewed that.
Y'all received a copy of the bill list. It'll be your pleasure.
Motion.
Second.
A motion by Wilson, a second by Strunk. Any further discussion?
Yeah, just one thing. Before the end of the year, fiscal year, I know, I think the fire commission has some expenses that they are worried about that should be under the EOC expenses versus fire commission. Can we get those straightened out before
I'll look at them, yes.
before the final quarterly
So
report?
what you're saying is they would move from,
They were expenses that should have been under EOC versus fire, the fire commission. Can we take a look at those and make sure that they're taken care of?
Stacy, if you'll get with me. Yes,
No.
as long
Okay.
as Stacy and I go over it. The only thing is, Stacy, I will be out of pocket for at least until after next Monday. I'm having surgery tomorrow, so
Yeah, I didn't know if you can take a look at it today before you go in surgery or not, or.
I'll see. I know today is gonna be crazy trying to get,
Just to make sure before the end of the
Everything
physical year.
closed
that-
out, yes.
Or that, or have somebody else take a look at it and
All right.
see if there's something.
sure,
They have some expenses that they questioned last night.
absolutely.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Second item I have would be the second reading of the budget, of a budget amendment. It's amendment number 3, and it was sign. It was our first reading was on May 25th. It was approved by the Department for Local Government on May 26th. I'm so late bringing it to you because I had an issue with my email and the classifieds. Poor Janie got a call on the weekend and trying to get this straightened out, but no avail. So I'm having to do it today.
Is this this is a separate amendment than the other two? You said it's amendment number 3.
We've had 3 amendments over the course of the fiscal year.
Okay.
That's why I say
So there's
amendment
no
number 3.
changes from the first?
Oh, no,
Okay.
no.
That's what it was. Okay, motion.
Second.
Motion by Ranshaw and a second by Turpin. Have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The third item I have are budget transfers. Of course, as I've told you before, these are housekeeping items that make sure all our accounts are whole for the end of the year.
Motion.
Second. Have a motion by Wilson, second by Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Another item is the second reading of the actual budget. Of course, let's see. We had our first reading on May 11th. Any changes that we had were made. It was sent to the Department for Local Government. They approved it on May 20th. And we need to have our final reading today to approve.
Do we have a motion to accept the second reading of the 21-22 budget?
So this has all the changes that we discussed in budget workshop?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Ranshaw and a second by Strunk. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The last item I have are 2 fund transfers. One to the general fund from the fire fund. It's the final payment of the transfers that are done through the budget. Originally, they still have to be done by fiscal court for $200,000. And to the 911 fund from the general fund for $200,000 also.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Strunk and second by Wilson. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
That's all I
Motion carries.
have.
Congratulations, you got your budget through.
It was a
and
good year.
Now you can have surgery.
So I'm thrilled. I can go under the knife. Happy. So Steve, I do have some documents that you need to sign. Thank you.
All right, well, we have a couple issues that I think we need to discuss in executive session, one being possible ongoing litigation and settlement news from a case that Pulaski County is involved in. And then also we need to discuss use of property. Talk about that hopefully one last time. Have a motion to go into executive session.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Strunk, second by Wilson. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and we will reconvene as soon as we can, but you're invited to stay if you would like till it's over, or we should, whenever we return, we will let you know if there's any further business conducted. I want to resume our regular session. No action was taken in executive session. However, we do have a couple items of business we need to do. First item, we need to rescind the interlocal agreements that the fiscal court passed. Do we know the date of those? No, it was a couple meetings ago. Anyway, we passed interlocal agreements, and we need to rescind those. So we did a vote to, are you looking that up?
That have been, last month,
It's been a month.
would have been the 25th of May.
That sounds right.
So,
I just had one more meeting than this meeting. So it was 2 meetings ago.
yeah, it's May 25th.
We need to rescind the interlocal agreements from the 25th of May that we made with the city of Somerset.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Strunk, second by Wilson. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And then we have new interlocal agreements to present. You've got copies of those. Do we need to do these separate, Martin?
I probably would, yes.
Okay. First interlocal agreement then will be Comprehensive Fire Protection Services. You've got a copy of that. And we can get a copy to the newspaper after we're done here.
Motion.
Second.
By Strunk, second by Wilson. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have, next would be the interlocal agreement for the occupational license fee.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Turpin, second by Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Third one then would be the interlocal agreement regarding the insurance premium tax.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wilson, second by Ranshaw. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And then we have a resolution related to the investment of American Recovery Plan funds to projects jointly shared between Pulaski County and the city of Somerset. Do I need to read this resolution, Martin?
You can summarize it.
Basically, we have several shared services and projects that we work together with on the city, and this is just showing, since we have received funds from the United States government, we are going to put some of these monies towards our joint projects with the city, subject to the ARP guidelines, and that will need to be approved by court to make sure those expenditures actually meet the guidelines.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Turpin, second by Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next then would be second reading of the TIF ordinance, which allows us to enter into local participation agreement for Horse Soldier Farms.
That was advertised, right, Judge?
It was advertised.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Strunk, second by Wilson. Any further discussion? All in favor?
No.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Judge, could you do, that was to pass the ordinance, can you do another vote on the, you execute the local participation?
Okay, I can do that. So then we'd need permission from the court to allow me to execute the local participation agreement for Horse Soldier Farms Development Area.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wilson, a second by Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. And then Martin has, wants to share, I guess, synopsis of our litigation, the opioid litigation we've been involved in.
Correct, thank you. Well, about 3 years ago or so, this court had the foresight to to retain legal counsel for litigation concerning the devastating effects that opioids have had on our community. And so you guys signed an agreement with a group of law firms who were representing communities nationwide regarding this issue. And now, some years later, there's starting to be some settlement negotiations, and mainly with the big 3 or 4 distributors of opioids. And so I've been fortunate enough to be one of the 2 or 3 county attorneys in the state that's worked closely with our legal counsel and from legal counsel across the nation, because you've got states that have filed lawsuits, and you've got, like us, communities, local governments that have filed lawsuits. And so these are called multi-district litigation, or MDLs, and usually one federal court kind of takes control of all of them, and everything's run out of that one court. And in this particular case, it's a federal court out of Ohio. And at any rate, again, because of your all's foresight, you typically think, well, you don't ever get anything out of these, but that's not going to be the case here. And what I'm going to tell you right in a minute that we think is going to be happening is just kind of the start of it. There will be there's a lot more defendants, a lot more people who are going to be held liable for the damage that opioids have caused to our communities across this country. So the way it works is these 3 or 4 companies will agree to a global settlement across the United States, and because they want finality, of course, and closure. So then the federal court will decide, and right now it looks like that's going to be $26 billion with a B. So the court then will approve a plan of how much goes to each state, and then they will approve a plan as to how much. Each state will then decide what does the state get and what does local government get. And we've reached that agreement here in Kentucky, and there's been legislation passed in support of that. And the agreement we reached was that through the Attorney General's office, is that the state would get 50% of the settlement proceeds that come into Kentucky. Local governments would get the other 50%. And there's a formula as to how each local government's participation in that settlement is, what amount they'll finally get. And I think our part of any settlement will be like 1.18%. And there's a list of each county. I think I gave you all a copy of that, what each county will get. So, and there's some of it will be paid up front, some of it will be paid over years, but it's got to be used for basically abatement. It can't be, you can't go back and say, well, we spent this much money, you know, on housing them in jail or whatever. You gotta, everything is prospective, you know, what can we do prospectively with this money to deal with the problems that this opioid crisis caused our community? So maybe treatment, education, employment. There's a list of approved purposes that I've given you all, and those would be the top things that the court has approved. Those would be the top things that this money could be used for when it starts coming in. So you can't use it to put potholes in roads and that kind of thing. I mean, it's to be used to help our community recover from, and our people in our community recover from this opioid epidemic. So that being said, there's two things I need to ask you to do today, and this needs to be done before or by July 1st. I need you to pass a resolution regarding the settlement memorandum of understanding and give the judge the authority to then execute that memorandum of understanding. So with the, let's see, it's signed off on by Attorney General signs off on it, the judge signs off on it, and I sign off on it, on the memorandum of understanding. So that being said, that's what we need to do to get the ball rolling on this thing, and hopefully, the thought is that by sometime by early January of 2022, then we may have our first payment from these 3 or 4 distributors, and then, like I said, there should be others coming down the road, we hope.
Good deal.
Any questions?
I just want to thank you for, I know you've worked hard on that behind the scenes. Thank you for doing that, Martin. It's way to step up.
Yeah, we appreciate all you do for us.
Thank you.
So I make a motion, we approve,
Adopt the resolution.
adopt the resolution.
Motion by Ranshaw. Second by Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And then a motion to, which the resolution really authorizes the judge to sign it, but I always like to get a second vote on authorization.
Motion to approve the authorization for the judge to sign.
Second.
Motion by Ranshaw, second by Turpin. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right, motion carries. Congratulations. It's a good victory for
Our community.
all we've been through.
Yeah.
It's a little help. All right.
Thank you.
With no further business then, we entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Wilson, second by Strunk. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Jane?